Hey y'all, I'm James Wright. Welcome to my shop, and I finally have a Stanley number 77 that functions. The Stanley 77 dowel maker. This thing is kind of cool. Well, number one, it's got these square holes on the outside, so you can make a square shaft that then fits into the hole. And for every one of these holes, there's a different cutter. Now, the price on these machines isn't crazy, but they have gone up a good bit in recent years. The surprising thing is these cutters here, each one of these cost more than this whole machine. And there are a lot of these, one for every square peg on this circle. You can see how the cutter only has, well, one cutter on here. It's a pretty simple device that screws in there and lets the dowel go through once it's been cut to size. The initial curve on here is designed to take off a lot of material, and then it's got a long flat that then brings it down into the exact size. The central shaft on this is hollow, and that way you can run the dowel all the way through. You can make a dowel however long you have a board to make it out of. I do not have the money to buy one of these. I was flabbergasted to buy one of these for 50 bucks. Usually they're 200 to 300 bucks a piece. And the 5/8, which I have here, is the most common one. You find these ones all over the place, and some of the other ones are very hard to find. But I actually made this entire thing out of parts. Every one of these parts I bought individually. The body I bought for 10 bucks years ago, and it came with this central shaft that someone had made to go on a pulley so it didn't have the crank anymore. And then I was so happy one day I found the shaft without the pulley on there. And then I found the crank head, but it didn't have the handle. But then I found a guy in Chicago that had a handle. This disc with all the holes though, that drove me bonkers. No one had one of those. This was costing more than the whole other thing. But then I found a guy who said, wait a second, I've got one that's broken. Let me see if I can fix it. So he welded this one up and actually did a really good job of it. This little thing right here, this is the kicker. This is the piece that doesn't exist. This screw looks simple, but let me show you. Just a second, I got wait, oh yeah, that's right. This thing's left-handed, which is gonna make it hard to find. I originally thought I could just get a bolt to stick in here, but no. Stanley happened to make one-off thread that they only used in this particular spot. It is some weird thread that does not exist, and Stanley said, I'm going to use that to do this. I really wanted to get an original one of these, but unfortunately, you're not going to find an original one of these. All of the other parts you can find. This one is really not. I tried to cut one of these on my metal cutting lathe, but my lathe isn't tight enough to do that small of a thread with a single point thread cutter. There's a little bit of slop in the head, and it just was giving me horrible results. Time after time I kept trying it and I just couldn't quite get it tight enough to work right. I talked to several machinists and I said, hey, I can give you the dimensions, I can give you the thread count. It's 21 threads and something weird left thread. I knew all that information, but no machinist out would make one piece, and if they did, they wanted like 400 bucks for it. So then a few months ago I put out a video saying, hey, does anyone know where I can find one of these? And I was basically begging. And lo and behold, one of you guys said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and turn that for you. Thank you. We weren't sure if it was going to work because I gave him all the dimensions over email, but sure enough, he puts it in here and the thing works first try. I am overjoyed. So let's put this together and use it. I have a 5/8 cutter, so that means I can make 5/8 dowels. I can't make any other size, but I can make 5/8 dowels. You then take your square shaft to be slightly thicker than 5/8 in both dimensions, and you find the hole that fits it. Then set it in place and align the hole with the square. Make sure you turn it the right direction and lock it down. Now this thing is made with mounting holes, so you can mount it on a block or a table or something else, but I just like to hold it down with some holdfasts. So I bring it over here to the edge of the bench and tap these down. Now it's in good in place. We can take the square peg, put it in the square hole, and go to town, start cranking. This thing is a lot of fun. And it just keeps coming out the other side. Now, I haven't actually sharpened this cutter yet because I've been having too much fun to stop and do that. And plus, this Filipino mahogany is a really soft wood, so it's not going to be a great test. You're never going to get a nice smooth surface on this like you would with a maple. But man, is this thing a lot of fun. So there we go. 5/8 dowel all the way through. Sharpening this sucker is something I've kind of been putting off. It's done with a slipstone, and honestly, sharpening it's not as much of a problem as putting it back together and getting it in just the right position. You got to move it back and forth until you just get it to where it's cutting a little bit, but not too much. Sometimes you'll find these cutters with mushrooming here because they're hammer adjusted. So now if I ever need a dowel, I can throw it on my dowel maker and make any dowel I want, as long as it's a 5/8 dowel. Otherwise, I'm stuck with my dowel plate, because with that I can make just about anything I want. With the dowel plate, I can go to the nearest 32nd of an inch, which makes it really nice. Whereas with this, it goes by increments of 1/16 of an inch. And that's about it. The Stanley 77. Do you need one? No. But do you need one? Yeah, you need one. They're a lot of fun. Someday in the future, I'll probably get a few more cutters and I'll pull this out from time to time when I need something specific. I really do enjoy this, and it's an incredible amount of fun to play with. And there are lots of other little features on this that I didn't even talk about, such as the adjustable handle and other little tweaks on this. It is a fun tool, and I'm looking forward to using it for many years to come. If you have any questions, thoughts, ideas, snide remarks, throw those down below. Thank you very much. Anytime you comment down below or even put CBD, that means a lot. It really helps us get in front of more people. I say it every week, but honestly, it really does mean a lot. Thank you for that. But if you want to go even farther and be an amazing, wonderful, benevolent, gorgeous person that allows me to buy tools one part at a time, think about joining these people over here. Those are some of the patrons on Patreon. And between patrons and members, you guys are the ones that support this channel. You make everything happen here and make everything come to life. So thank you. I think that'll do it for now. And until next time, have a wonderful day. When it's all done and you can finally go home, you can throw in the dowel.